This is the Season Long Podcast in support of the YouTube channel SeasonLongBaller. Happy to have you with us. Hope you are having a wonderful day and you had a wonderful weekend. And let's hop right into it. So on our podcast, we always cover the things or try to cover some of the things that happen outside of our player build, Jaymont Summerz and the Washington Wizards, while we also review what happened in our game. We're mirroring the exact Washington Wizards schedule. Unfortunately, the real Wizards didn't make the playoffs, so we won't be mirroring that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But let's review last week, which was a thrilling, spectacular week for the Wizards. Went 4-0, but also a great week for Jaymont Summerz. For me, I think if there was any doubt, now I know we don't have real voters on 2K24, but last week was the stamp of approval, really putting the hammer down, saying the MVP is Jaymont Summerz, and he has been leading the voting for most of the season. As you see last week, an 81-78 victory over the Bucks, a 69-63 victory over the Lakers, who had defeated us earlier in the season, out in LA, a 76-74 victory over the Trailblazers, and then yesterday, a 67-58 victory over the Raptors. We'll get into those games in just a moment. We're going to break those down just a little bit deeper than we normally do. But first, let's take a look at what's going on with the playoff picture. Out in the East first, you see we have clinched the number one seed by virtue of this incredible winning streak we're on right now. We have won 14 games in a row. Our last loss was a defeat at the hands of the Grizzlies in Memphis. But we've run off 14 games in a row, which basically hadn't eliminated the Knicks, of course, out of the playoffs. But that is what basically is the difference between the Knicks, who are running in second, and even the Heat, who are running in third. That has been the entire difference, really, in the East, this 14-game winning streak we've gone on. So as you see, the Wizards are the 1, the Knicks are the 2, Heat, Sixers, Cavaliers, and Pacers. That is your top 6 right now. The Bulls, Celtics, Raptors, and the Hawks. That is your top 10. The Milwaukee Bucks are just a game out. So we'll see with 4, some teams have 3 games left. There's 4 games, 5 games. But the Bucks are just a game back of the Hawks, and they'll be fighting for that play-in position. Now out west, the Lakers are still leading the Warriors, and this is going down to the end right here. The Lakers have a 1-game lead, or really have a half-game lead on the Warriors, with the Grizzlies in striking distance as well. Your top 4, that's your top 3. The Clippers, Timberwolves, and Pelicans round out the playoff teams. And then in the play-in, you've got the Thunder, the Suns, the Nuggets, and the Mavericks. And I know you're thinking, what in the world? How could the Nuggets be the 9th seed? I couldn't explain that either. Obviously, the Nuggets in real life are about to try a major title defense here. But in our simulation, they're running 9th. And I mean, in our simulation, the Bucks are running 11th out east. And even on NBA 2K23, the Bucks did not do well and didn't make the playoffs in our simulation last season. And you can check that link below, where we have our season playlist and our playoff playlist from last season. So take a quick look back at the week that was. Again, Bucks, Lakers, Bucks, Lakers, Trailblazers, Raptors. Those were the 4 teams, and we'll take them on right now in order here. The Wizards defeated the Bucks 81-78 by virtue of this.
I want to shoot this, but it's got to be something that is decent. That's a good look. Got it! Game! Yeah! Got the buzzer beater against the Bucks. Yes! I've hit some clutch 3s, but not one at the buzzer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was happy. My first ever buzzer beater, or I should say, since we've started the channel Season Long Baller, my first buzzer beater, an 81-78 victory at the buzzer, my 3-pointer the distance, and we defeated the Bucks at the buzzer in overtime. Now, we're not going to talk about how the Bucks got the game into overtime. where some bad defense by a particular person might have had something to do with it. We're just going to focus on the positive here. For the Wizards, Summerz led the way with 32, shot the ball 25 times, 6 out of 16 from deep, but the key one was that 16th one that dropped, and that provided the difference in the game. The Wizards shot 47%. As you can see, the Bucks shot 48%. The Wizards were 11 out of 28. The Bucks were 11 out of 31 from deep. The Wizards shot 8 free throws. The Bucks shot 10. So not much of a difference, as the two teams are, as you can see with these stats, are relatively the same. And a matter of fact, on the glass, which you know I'm always worried about, it was a dead heat, 33-33. The Bucks were led by Damian Lillard, no shock there, with 24 to go along with 4 assists, and he was 9 out of 18 from the field, 6 out of 12 from deep. And Antetokounmpo had 19, 8 out of 11 from the field, and he did take three pointers and managed to hit one of those. So after beating the Bucks, the next opponent was the Lakers. But as you see here, Anthony Davis is injured. Now, he's not out like a lot of these other players on the list there. He is injured. He's just hurt. So you'll notice he has the yellow cross there. Strained left hip, 4 to 6 weeks. I didn't expect him to play, but he is just hurt, and Davis did play. In this game, the Lakers and the Wizards shot the ball the exact same amount of times and made it the exact same amount of times. Look at that. The Wizards, 27 out of 56, and that's what the Lakers were too, 48% clip from the field. The Wizards shot one less three-pointer, but made one more three-pointer. So the Lakers were 7 out of 22 from deep. The Wizards were 8 out of 21. But the big difference, free throws. The Lakers only shot 2. They made both of them, but the Wizards were 7 out of 10 from the field, from the free throw line for 17%. It does make you wonder how much of a difference Anthony Davis would have been at healthy, because Davis did play, which we'll mention in just a moment. The Lakers were led by D'Angelo Russell, had 25 points, 9 out of 12 from the field, 5 out of 8 from deep. It really did appear like he wasn't missing. LeBron James had 19, including 9 out of 16 from the field, 1 out of 3 from deep, but he had a couple key misses in the key sequence of the game, which we will talk about in just a moment. For the Wizards, again, Summerz, 32 points, 12 out of 20 from the field, 6 out of 12 from deep, and it was Summerz 3 3-pointers in a row, which was basically a 9-0 run by the Wizards after a 3-pointer from D'Angelo Russell that basically changed the complexion of the game and ended the game for all practical purposes. And, well, actually, let's take a look at that right now. Oh, great. We left Russell wide open. So there were like 4 Wizards there and a compromised Anthony Davis, and he got the rebound. All right, let's go screen and roll with Şengün. Let's put Davis into the screen and roll. It's a 2-point lead for the... Oh, got a good look there. Davis didn't step up. Got it. It's a 3-point lead for the Wizards. Now a 5-point lead, and LeBron brings the ball into the front court. Summerz at 26-6. All right, LeBron floats in the air, misses it. Avdia with the rebound, up to me, transition 3, I'm launching. It's good. Yes, back-to-back threes for Summerz. Now 29-6. All right, 8-point lead. LeBron brings the ball into the front court, misses the layup. He leaves it short. Avdia with another rebound, up to me. Oh, transition 3, wide open. Got it. Bam. 3 back-to-back threes. Wizards by 11. 69-63, Wizards victory by virtue of the fourth quarter heroics by Jaymont Summerz. So on to the Blazers. Wizards with a 76-74 victory over the Blazers. Wizards shot 46%, the Blazers shot 42%. Wizards were horrible from deep, 6 out of 25, while the Blazers were 8 for 21. But do you notice? 2-point victory by the Wizards in overtime. Seems like it's a common thread around here this week. And the difference here, for at least for the Blazers, they were 12 out of 13 from the free throw line. The Wizards were only 4 out of 7. The Blazers also dominated the glass 41-34, with Deontay Ayton getting 17 rebounds, and that is a season high in the league. Now, Alperen Şengün and myself in differing games had 15, and that was the previous high, but this season, the 17 that Ayton gets here in this overtime game is the high for the season. The Trailblazers, led by Jordan Clarkson, who had 14. Yes, the Jazz player is playing for the Trailblazers in a group of moves that included, believe it or not, Terry Rozier. Obviously, Rozier is playing for the Heat in real life. He started the season with our Hornets, just like in real life. But in this deal, he was sent out west and ended up eventually with the Jazz, while Clarkson is here with the Blazers. And he led the team with 14 points, 4 out of 5 from the field, 2 out of 3 from deep. And Anthony Simons had 12, but he was only 3 out of 13 from the field, 2 out of 7 from deep. And Scoot Henderson was also only 4 out of 11, 1 out of 4 from deep. For the Wizards, again, it's me, 28 points, 11 out of 17 from the field, 5 out of 11 from deep. But let's talk about that 11th three-pointer.
All right, I mean, you know I want this shot, so that's not even a shot. But the question is, will we get a good look? Yeah, that's a decent look. Got it! 0.3 seconds to go. And that is the end of the game. Well, wait. Okay, whoo, that looked online. The Wizards will escape with a 76-74 victory with Jaymont Summerz hitting the near buzzer beater.
All right, not quite a buzzer beater, but with 0.3 seconds left on the clock, a three-pointer drops, and that is the margin of victory for the Wizards. And again, if we were putting down trying to put out that final resume of why we should be the MVP this season, this has been the week. So finally this week, yesterday, taking on the Raptors, and as you see, Pascal Siakam has a ruptured right Achilles. He's out for the season, and unfortunately for the Raptors, he's in our simulation here. Obviously, in real life, he's playing for the Pacers, and hopefully he stays healthy, of course. But in our simulation here, he hurt this Achilles quite a while ago, so he's been out for a bit, and he's been out for the season. So you get a slightly different Raptors lineup, but in this game, Wizards with a 67-58 victory to run the winning streak to 14. The Raptors couldn't buy a shot from deep, going 2 out of 12, while the Wizards were 9 out of 24. Free throws were pretty close. Wizards 10 out of 11 and the Raptors 10 out of 12, as the Wizards get a 67-58 victory that did not have to go into overtime. The Raptors were led by Pirtle, who, by the way, did not play in the previous meeting because he was injured. He had 9 rebounds to go along with 18 points, 8 out of 15 from the field. And Scotty Barnes was 6 out of 16 and 0 for 3 from deep. And he was unable to keep the Raptors in front of the Wizards in the fourth quarters. He missed quite a few shots there in the fourth quarter, and you see he finished 6 out of 16. For the Wizards, Jaymont Summerz with another dominant game, 39 points, 13 out of 18 from the field, 4 out of 5 from deep, 9 out of 10 from the free throw line. That one miss is probably going to cost me. It's probably going to cost me my 95 percentile that was my goal at the beginning of the season. I'm back under 95. We'll see if I get enough attempts going forward. But Summer's dominant game helped make up for the fact that Jordan Poole was only 3 out of 13 and 1 out of 8 from deep. And Summerz again with a dominant fourth quarter, and the Wizards get the victory, 67-58. Taking a quick look again at the injury report, you may have noticed this earlier, but Zion Williamson is out for 8 to 10 weeks with a broken left ankle. That is going to hurt the Pelicans, obviously, going forward, and I did just want to mention that. I've been talking about the MVP race the entire time, so here's an actual look at the MVP race. Jaymont Summerz leading right now, as you see, 27.1 points per game. That is the best mark in the league, followed by Joker, Embiid, Doncic, and Jimmy Butler. That's your top 5, I guess, vote getters in 2K24 for this season for MVP. And again, I think we put a big mark on being the MVP this week, but we will see if that actually holds up. All right, so taking a look at next week, Timberwolves tomorrow, then the Chicago Bulls for the third time on Friday, and we end the season, interestingly, against the Boston Celtics. The Celtics right now, as you saw earlier, in the play-in tournament, fighting for positioning there, and we've had our way with the Celtics all season. Despite the fact we have beaten them pretty handily all the time this season, including the 51 points that we hung on them the day before Halloween, I don't want to play them in the playoffs. I still don't want to play them in the playoffs. So in the play-in, I hope that they are not the 8 seed. And really, I prefer to get eliminated, but I hope that they're not the 8th seed. But we will see how that goes. So, hope to see you tomorrow. That's it for this edition of the Season Long Podcast number 55. Thank you for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week, and hope that you join us for these games this week. Again, Timberwolves, Bulls, and Celtics. And before I go, let me thank you again once more for joining me for the live game against the Lakers last Wednesday. We had a blast, and maybe we'll try to sneak in some live streams during the playoffs. That sounds like a plan, right? All right, that's it for Season Long Baller. Peace.